Hey everyone, it's Erin from erinbunpaints. Welcome back to another acrylic painting tutorial. Today I'll be teaching you step by step how to recreate the beautiful painting beside me. It's called Farm Life. I use all 5 of my usual paint colors today. We have red, yellow, phthalo blue, black, and white. And then I use my usual 3 brushes. We have the large flat brush, we have the medium round brush, and we have the small round brush. As usual, this footage was taken from a recent live stream of mine. If you want to tune in live next time, then you can go to one of 2 places. You can go to Twitch at twitch.tv/erinbunpaints. That's where I stream both the step-by-step acrylic painting tutorials like this one, as well as regular painting content throughout the week. Or you can go check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/erinbunpaints. That's where I stream just the step-by-step acrylic painting tutorials through Facebook Live. Otherwise, check me out on Instagram, instagram.com/erinbunpaints, and of course feel free to check out my YouTube channel. You're already here, youtube.com/erinbunpaints. It's where I post all of my past step-by-step acrylic painting tutorials. Alright, we're off to the farm. Have a good time painting. Alright. Okay. Large flat brush. Even amounts blue and white. I've said that 3 times now, I'm sorry. And we're going to put that right across the canvas. We're going about 1/3 of the way down. So if you want to do that mixture, again, even amounts white and blue, about 1/3 of the way down, and we can start wiping back and forth, left and right. Back and forth, left and right. So Lisa has joined in. Hello, Lisa on Twitch. Got K's, welcome in. Yeah, see, you can see in the comments. Some are saying fellow Facebook friends, etc. There's a bunch of you coming over. Sherry left Facebook, head to Twitch. Hello, welcome in. So again, I'm just going left and right, back and forth, everybody. Just kind of smoothing out the paint as I go. So doing large brush strokes, that helps keep some things nice and smooth. Welcome in. Again, everyone's being so welcoming. That's great. No worries, Barb. No worries. You have your paints ready. You can do it whenever you like. It's going to be good time. Good time. Thanks for showing up, Barb. Facebook, I'm going to refresh and see if I can get any more comments. Can I share the YouTube link? Sure. I will post that in just a second for you. That was Sandy, yes? Yes. So YouTube is actually the exact same name as the Facebook page. It's erinbunpaints. So if you use the search bar in YouTube, you can search erinbunpaints and it should be the first thing that pops up. Otherwise, you can just type in youtube.com/erinbunpaints. That works as well. But I will give you the exact link in just a second for you. So Sandy's asking for YouTube. YouTube is where I post all of my past tutorials for those wondering. So even this tutorial, for example, once it's all done, it will be posted to YouTube. Probably sometime tomorrow. And it'll be on Facebook in the meantime. So once this video ends, it kind of stays on Facebook for a limited time, but then it moves right over to YouTube so you can watch it there as well. So again, nice big strokes, that'll help smooth out all the paint, so you can go ahead and do that whenever you're ready as well. Perfect. Okay, refreshing Facebook here, giving a little look. Oh yes, and I was going to do that link for Sandy. So Sandy, I'm typing in the link now for you. There you go. Alright, Sherry and anyone else needed, the YouTube link is now in the comments there. So I'm just going to give everyone a minute in case you're still adding that blue. I'll point out, mine might look a little bit streaky. That's not intentional. If you want to purposely make yours streaky, that's totally fine. I love a streaky sky personally. But what I do is I keep it mostly the same blue, and then what I'm doing is I'm adding clouds later anyway. So not too worried about the streaks. You could go with or without them if you want. If there are streaks, it's just accidental on mine personally. Just because I probably didn't mix the paint a whole lot and maybe a little extra blue or white got in there, so That's the reasoning. Sherry, hi, can you please show the original piece once in a while? Yes. So usually what I do, Sherry, is I hold it up when I'm doing like a brand new step. It won't be every single step, but if I find that I need to point out something, then I do that. If you'd like, though, if you like having like a solid digital version to look at, you can go to either the Facebook event page, because the version is on there, so you can have a look in the banner photo. Or if you go to my Instagram page, instagram.com/erinbunpaints, there is a very flat, I guess, like high quality version there as well. So just a couple options in case you want to see like the original at all times, but otherwise for sure I'll lift it up and down for you. Hello Napoleon, welcome in. Erin, I got a 6-pack of canvas from Lens Mills, 19. That's pretty good, pretty good. It's just about $3 each. That's pretty nice. Okay. All right, guys, so I'm going to move on to the next step here. So yeah, you'll see I kind of bring it up with each step. So next step is I'm going to just do a nice dark green hill. I'm going to do a nice big kind of rounded hill here, and then you can kind of finish off over here just to be sure if you want, or you can leave it blank because we're putting a barn here later on anyway. So really, as long as you're bringing the hill over about 2/3 of the way, you should be pretty safe. If you're someone who wants to be very safe, you can kind of cover all the way across with that green. But again, mainly excuse me, that first 2/3 is where this dark green hill is going to go. We're going to start with the dark green, and then what I'll do is I'll tap on the light green. I'll show you how to do that on top. So again, for now, just the dark green. So you can keep using the same brush. It was a large flat brush. I'm washing it off in my paint water. Almost spilled something. And then we're going to grab yellow and blue and mix them together. That creates green. So yellow and blue. Okay, so large flat brush, I'm mixing yellow and blue together. I'm going for a dark green, so you might want to use a little extra blue. Just a little bit, not too much. I'll show you the green again. And it doesn't have to match my exact green, of course. I'm just looking for a darker green today. So yellow, blue, maybe a little extra blue there. All right, and I'm still using, again, that large flat brush. I'm just going to now paint on a nice big hill. Again, I'm mainly looking at the first 2/3, so I'm just making sure that I'm going in the first 2/3 with that green. And then just to be safe, I will bring it over like this. Even though our barn is gonna go here, I'm just gonna cover up that gap in case I have any gaps with maybe the roof or things like that. Just a little extra precaution, you could say. And then otherwise, the hill goes down, I would say just below halfway. I would say maybe halfway is about here, so we're going just below halfway. So if you want, you can kind of mark off where that is. Maybe right around there. And we can now fill that in with all this nice dark green. So even though your sky might be a little bit wet, the green might kind of blend into it a little bit, but you can see it blends in and eventually kind of fades the blue away. It shouldn't really show through. It'll just kind of mix with your paint as you go. So you can always stack on a little more paint if needed. Just like that, and you can see it darkens it right up. Once again, I'm using large back and forth strokes. That just helps kind of smooth everything out. And I kind of liked this this big hill here, you know, I liked the big bump of the hill. If you'd rather have more of just a flat surface, you can totally do that. I like the idea of rolling hills in this though, kind of that background piece and then more of a foreground piece later. So this part I'm not too worried about again because our barn is definitely going there. So you can see I'm just messily putting on the green paint if it's not super smooth or it's not super covered. That's okay. It's more so this hill that I'm concentrating on, so I'm going over top with some smooth brush strokes, evening everything out. Okay, so I'll give you a minute or two for that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to dot on a lighter green to kind of add our little rose that we have in our hill. Yeah. Refreshing Facebook here, let's see. Wait for 5 minutes. Strata, I'll be going kind of at a pace that allows for the painting to be done in about 2 hours. If I get a few people telling me to slow down, for sure I will. But it's important to me that I'm trying to keep up the pace a little bit just to make sure we're not going till like 11, 12 o'clock. Hope you understand, and I'm happy to catch you up if you need any help. Christy, I'm still here watching you. Perfect. Angela, gonna do this one later, possibly adding a tractor. Oh yeah! Was it you who messaged me about that? Someone was messaging me. I think it was you, Angela, saying they wanted to do a tractor. I thought that was so exciting. That's a good idea. A tractor would be a great idea. I did the red truck because everyone requested a red truck. A lot of people were saying, we really want a red truck painting, so had to do it, had to do it. It was time. Just giving another half minute. Ewok is here. Look at that. I was just saying this, Ewok. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks, Ewok. You too. I was talking about you because I'm doing the farm painting right now. We're doing the farm painting tutorial. And I was like, I wonder if Ewok's going to be here. I feel like this is kind of your painting with all the advice you gave me. So there you go. Thanks for shouting out, Ewok. Yeah, exciting, exciting. But yeah, hope you're having a great day too, Ewok. It's been kind of a chaotic day. We're having some tech issues all over the place, but otherwise we're fine. Otherwise we're fine. Just wish things worked a little smoother, you know? Heather, hello! Welcome in, Heather. Facebook is having some issues today, Heather, just so you know, so I have to like refresh to see comments, so it might take a little bit for me to reply here. Again, go to Twitch if you want. Really about that painting. Yeah, I saw that you were having fun having that earlier today. Yeah. Lots going on early and right now. Again, you just heard me saying Facebook was causing issues here. Gotta refresh to see any comments. It's wild. But yeah, it was software updates, PC things, all of it. All of it. Okay, so let's go on to the next step, guys. We've got the nice kind of rose here, so just by using a little bit of a lighter green and adding some texture, it makes it look like we've got some freshly cropped areas here. So I'll be switching brushes at this point. If you have more of a medium-sized brush, that would be beneficial. You could technically use the large one if you want, but I think I'll be using the smaller one just so I can be a little more precise with where I'm going. So you can take that medium size. You can dab in your water, or dip in your water. You wouldn't dab in the water, I guess. And we're going to mix a light green now. So light green is just made by mixing yellow and blue. I would just say more yellow, you know? More yellow, and that way it lightens up a little bit more. So more of like a lime green is what we're looking for. So mixing that up on my plate, you can see it's nice and light compared to my dark green, which is up here. Okay, and you don't need a whole lot on your brush. I'm just kind of tapping it into the color a little bit, because mostly I think it's really the texture that brings out these rows. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to start, you can start bottom or top, I'm going to start at the top though. I'm just going to tap. So I'm using the tip of my brush and tapping. And I'm tapping this color on and trying to bring kind of stripes down. I like to curve the stripes a little bit, so I'm not going straight up and down. I'm going kind of curving with the hill, so you can see I'm curving kind of down to the right a little bit. You'll notice once again, this dark green is a little bit wet, of course, because we just applied it. But as long as you keep reloading with a little bit of that light green, you should see it kind of sticking on top a little bit. And I said before too, it's not even really the light green that adds this look, it's more of the texture. So you can see what's happening, my brush kind of moves the paint around almost, it moves that dark green around and kind of allows some canvas to become exposed. That's what really brightens it up too, is kind of moving the paint around by tapping. So I'm just going to tap around like this, I'm tapping on this stripe. Again, kind of curving with the hill. And then I'm going to tap a little more in my light green. Just gonna leave a little bit of a space because there are stripes going back and forth, right? And I'm gonna tap on a new one. Trying to keep it parallel so it's kind of going around the same angle as the last one. Bringing it down. Tapping away. So just keep reapplying as you need. You don't need to really thicken it up. Again, I think it's more important that you're just tapping for the texture. That texture. I'll show you again. You can see it's not really light green paint. It's almost like the canvas is showing through there because you're moving the paint with your brush. So that's a little more important, if anything, that you're using the brush to move that paint around, allowing the canvas to show through. There's another. Just gonna grab more light green and do yet another one. And these can be nice and wide, they can be nice and thin. I think it's more important, if anything, that you're just keeping them semi-consistent. You're kind of keeping them relatively evenly spaced and about the same width each time. So I'm gonna make this guy a little bigger as I say that. It matches a little bit better. And again, it's really up to you, the look that you want. You can have lots of stripes or a few stripes like me. All that's fine. Did you get hit with that storm? Oh. Caught the northern part. Oh, interesting. Nightwolf, thank you. I've seen that copy pasta before. Thank you so much, though. Okay. One, two, oh yeah, that's about as much as I have on here. So just if you want a comparison. I tried to keep them about the same width, so I did about 3 of those light green stripes. If you want to add more or less, of course you can. And once again, I'm not worried about what's going on over here, right? I just put the green there just in case, but we're going to be putting the barn there anyway, so I'm not going to worry about putting those stripes, crop lines over there. So I'll just give everyone a couple more minutes. I'm going to refresh the Facebook comments here, see what's going on. Jackie, hi, greetings from Nevada, I believe. Welcome in. It's happening all over the platforms. Heather, the comment thing, yeah, it's all over Facebook apparently. A few people said that other live streams even today were having the exact same thing, so I'm just relieved that it's not only me. I mean, it's bad for everybody, but I'm relieved it's not something I'm doing. But yeah, it's quite frustrating, honestly. I have to quite literally refresh from my phone right now to see what anybody's saying. It doesn't work here, it doesn't work on my laptop anymore. That was last week's solution. Lori's here. Hi, Erin. Just wanted to pop in and say hello. Can't stay and watch. No worries. Thanks for popping in, Lori. Have a great time. Yeah. Alright, so as I said before, I'll just give another minute or so, minute or two. So just as a heads up, the next step, we're just going to move down the painting a little bit. We're going to do the light green area. And again, the comment section is filled with so-and-so is watching, you know? It's not the comments. But yeah, I had a tech-filled day today, guys. it was an experience. I was supposed to be live on Twitch by 9 a.m. and ended up being about 4 p.m. But that's okay. Everyone was very nice and patient about it, so that was very nice. I was just frustrated that I couldn't be on at the time I wanted because I was excited to start my oil painting. I've been oil painting a little bit, and I've been wanting to work on it more often now. So yeah, that's what I've been doing most recently on Twitch: oil painting and creating upcoming tutorial paintings. I already have next Friday's planned. It's not posted yet, but it'll be posted tomorrow. It's a good one. I really like it. I'm very excited about it. And I'm so excited about Sunday too, guys. Again, a lot of you seem very into the lion painting, so I'm pretty excited about that one too. Sin, hello from New Jersey. My name is Cindy. Welcome in. I had Twitch freeze up, back on Facebook. No worries, Sandra. In bar, can you repeat how you did the light green? Sure. So it was just the medium round brush. I mixed together yellow with a little bit of blue. That's creating light green, and then I tapped it on. Tap, 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 tap. And I tapped it kind of in these angled lines. They kind of curve down like this. Yeah. You're doing a Bob Ross of yourself? A little. This is kind of inspired by him. Yeah, I would say, just doing these tutorials. The only difference is Bob unfortunately can't talk to you at the same time. It's just a pre-recorded. But yeah, pretty much. It's like we're leading it all step by step exactly. No beating the devil out of the brush here, though. Bob is my idol. I love him. There he is. Groki's got all the Bob Ross emotes ready to go. It's perfect. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move on to the next step here. Is that Mount Fuji? Yeah, Angie, I'm happy to show it too. If anyone wants to see, I can go grab it. But I'll post it up tomorrow too. Alright, so we're just going to move down the painting now. So you can see more light green down here. Nice lime green for the foreground grass area. I'm going to cover up this area here. Going to do another kind of hill. You can move it over again to the barn just to be safe. And I will leave a little bit of a blank spot for the dirt kind of road pathway here. It's not super necessary. You could put it on top, but it will help if we leave at least a little bit of a gap, just so it's not mixing in with the green a whole lot. So I will show you how to map it out just so we have a little bit of a blank spot ready to go there, okay? Hello, Simone. I see you there. I'll say a proper hello in a second. I'm going to use the large flat brush, everybody. So you can wash that off whenever you're ready. Again, the large flat brush. And I'm grabbing more of that light green. You can use the same light green you were just using there. So that's lots of yellow, a little bit of blue. And we are using that once again to do a hill kind of just overlapping a little bit on the previous hill there so that it covers up any gaps you might see. If you find, by the way, your green is a little transparent, and I'm pointing this out because I see mine is a little bit. By transparent, I mean you can kind of see that dark green through it if you're trying to overlap. You can grab a little bit of white and put it into your light green. You can see the difference. It covers up a lot better. So feel free to try that if you feel like your green is a little transparent, if you can see the previous color through it. So again, that was white into the yellow and blue mixture. Otherwise, you can just keep using lots of yellow, a little bit of blue. You are bringing this over. Again, you can go all the way if you want, just to make sure you're covering up any gaps. Once again, our barn will be here, so you don't need to be super clean about it. And then the other thing you want to map out is the pathway. So we have kind of a dirt road or pathway from the barn. So we don't need to do an exact shape, but if you want to just kind of mark off a little squiggle there, that's pretty much where the dirt road or pathway is going to go. So you can leave that blank, cover up light green all around it. And the brush stroke I'm using is just a regular back and forth, left and right. But yeah, welcome in, Simone. Hello, how are you? How's your day been today? What were you up to? Lil Wolf, I missed Mount Fuji. Oh, okay. Just continuing to add that. But yeah, Mount Fuji, that is the subject matter for next Friday's painting. So on Sunday we have the lion, which is posted on Facebook, I'm sure a lot of you saw, and on Discord for those on Discord. But yeah, I'm still planning on doing a tutorial for next Friday. Again, I've been sticking to mostly Fridays, Sundays, I find. And that will be Mount Fuji. I'm very excited about that one. It's beautiful colors. It's my usual kind of blue, pink, purple color scheme. I love it. So I hope you all like it too. There's some cherry blossoms in there. Ooh. Gotta love cherry blossoms, right? Lots of beautiful blending in it too. So it's a good one, I think. We shall see. Okay, so you saw I was just smoothing things out. I was just wiping back and forth. That helps smooth it all out again. Especially with lighter colors, you tend to see your brush strokes. So like this, you see? It starts to pull up the paint. If you just brush it back and forth, it helps even it out again. So just try that if you're seeing any little like divots in your paint. Gonna refresh you Facebook, so if anyone's commented, I'm coming right there. But yes, Anju, I hope it's the mountain you were looking for. Yes, it's that one. And I think you popped in perhaps on that one, maybe? I know you say sometimes you watch on Twitch, so there you go. I watched you on Twitch when you were working. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. There we go. Hello, Christy. Love cherry blossoms. Nice. Allison's excited. Ooh, I wish. Ooh, sorry for the microphone there. If I had it, I would show you. It's just in a pile somewhere. I don't want to run and go get it, but maybe I will if you guys want to see. But it'll be posted tomorrow, so it's not a big secret. You'll see it very soon. Just giving another minute or two for those adding the light green, and then what we're going to do is move to the pathway. How about Mount Kilimanjaro? That would be cool, Sandra. I can look into it. I guess now that I'm doing a mountain next week, I'd probably leave another mountain for a little bit, but still, I'd be happy to try out some more mountain paintings. We've done another mountain painting too. We did Lake Louise maybe a month or two ago, and that had some mountains in it, of course, so got quite a few popping up now. Alright, I'll give one more minute in case anyone's still adding that light green, and then again we're going to move to the dirt road area. Dirt road, dirt pathway, whatever you want to call it. Refresh, refresh. I was in Kenya. Oh, cool, Sandra. First time painting. Is it, J Knight? Oh, cool. That's exciting. I saw a few people before all the issues popping up. They were saying it was their first time joining me, so welcome in. I don't know, maybe some of you found me from that newspaper article today. That would be extra exciting, honestly. That was pretty cool. Oh, I need to go get one of those. I need to go find a physical newspaper. I need to go save one of those. Good job. Thank you, Christy. But yeah, it was pretty neat. More cardinals. Maybe soon, Anna. Maybe soon. It's been a while. I guess those cardinals were a while ago, huh? I certainly could. I still have an idea for a painting with a bunch of different birds, like cardinals included. So maybe I'll try and think about watching or painting that soon. And you can just make them all cardinals if you want. Yeah, I was thinking of doing like a kind of birds on the wire type thing with a bunch of different bird types. Yeah. Ooh, yes, birdies. Yee. Maria, hi, Erin, just joined. We'll look at the replay later. No worries. Yeah, it'll be on Twitch if you're interested. It'll be on Facebook, and then it'll eventually move to YouTube as well. So lots of options for you. Okay, all right, so let's look at the pathway, everybody. So again, this was just a general map out of the pathway. It's not perfect, of course. You can see it's a lot smaller than this one, and that's fine. It's just so we can get kind of a clean, it's funny, a clean dirt, a clean dirt color on here, you know, just so it doesn't mix with green. And then it's actually kind of beneficial to have a little bit of green overlapping because I really like the blended look here. You see how it kind of softly disappears? That'll be by blending. So it's actually beneficial if you have like a little bit of green coming into the area where you might want some of the pathway. So you can use a variety of brushes. I'm going to use the large flat brush. You could use a medium round if you prefer as well. It's kind of your own preference there. You can wash off whatever brush you're using because we've used both at this point, so just make sure you wash them off. So I'm gonna grab some white. And you can start by mixing white with a little bit of yellow. There will be another color added, but we're starting with white and yellow. I would say mostly white, little bit of yellow, so more of like a sunshine color. Need more. Just need to get some paints. They're all just out of arm's reach, so I'm going to bring them closer here. So again, we're just starting with white and yellow. I'll lead you through the rest in a second. All right, and then to the white and yellow mixture, you can add 2 small amounts of colors. You can add just a tiny amount of red, and I would say even a smaller amount of black. So the red is going to turn this kind of light yellow into more of a light beige, a light orange. You could think of it as many different colors. And then the black kind of dirties it up. That's how I describe it. It doesn't make it into a, or it doesn't keep it as a nice bright beige. It kind of dirties it into more of a dirt color. So this is what I'm getting here. Again, you can do any variation or shade that you want. It might be a little bit more of like a brown, dirty color, depending on how much of each color you add. If you add more red and yellow, you might go more of a brown. If you add more white, it'll be just lighter and lighter. Ah, yes, I didn't turn on that command correctly. So that's pretty much the color I'm going for there. It's kind of like a sandy, dirty sandy color. It's not like your typical, like if you were to go to the Bahamas and have a beautiful sand color. This is going to be a little more like dirty, worn down. So that's why I decided to add a little bit of black to it. So the way I'm applying this is I'm just kind of stroking back and forth. You can even go up and down. It doesn't matter. Whatever helps you cover the area you want to cover. I gave my dirt road a little bit of a curve, so you can see I tried to curve kind of out, in, out again, in a way. You can see I'm ending it just kind of anywhere up here. I'm sure our barn will overlap it eventually, so as long as you're putting it close to the top of your hill, of the light green hill, you're totally fine. Don't need to worry about getting it exact for now. Again, trying to go back, forth, back with my brush just to kind of map out where I want it to go. So it's going to look maybe a little harsh right now. Just in terms of the grass, you know, it's going to look very defined. And that's a cool look. If you want to keep it defined, you totally could. I just prefer more of the soft look, so I'll teach you how to make it a little softer in a minute here. Just going to bring this up for a comparison. So I can make that maybe a little longer or wider over here. Let's do that. Again, this is your painting, it's your farm. You can do whatever you want. You can even just make a straight dirt road or a dirt patch, whatever you feel like. Okay, so I've got my dirt color on there. Just kind of wiping more on here. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna refresh Facebook here in case anyone commented. Cardinal was my first painting. Wasn't Andrew? Ooh. Sure, Christy, go for it. Where'd you buy the large jugs of paint? These are from Curry's Art Store. Curry's Art Store. It's a Canadian store, so if you are in America, unfortunately I don't think you have Curry's there, but I'm sure Michael's would carry something large like this. They don't have quite the variety that Curry's does, or this brand from what I know, but I think they have some sort of a 1 liter option. These are 2 liters, and they're a value brand. They're an Academic Acrylic, and they go for about $18 or $19 Canadian, which I think is an amazing price. So Academic Acrylic just means like a lower quality acrylic paint, but it's all I use and it seems to work for me. So I always recommend it to everybody. It's the Start Academic Acrylic. Welcome in, Mr. Sam McSamface. Nice name with the Bob Ross painted face. Welcome in. Hope you're good today. Okay, so I'll show you how to blend now in case you want more of the soft look of the pathway. Again, just for comparison. You can see that the one on the right that I just painted, it's a little more harsh and defined. Again, that's totally fine if you want more of a defined look. This one's a little more blended. So if you want the blendy look, what you can do is just wash off your large flat brush. And hello again, Sam. I love your little emotes. They're so cute. So I'm washing off the large flat brush. I'm tapping it off on my towel. And I'm just going to now swipe in between those two wet colors. So your light green should still be a little bit wet. Your sandy color, of course, is wet. And you can see what happens is it blends them a little bit together. So it just kind of combines them, softens up that edge. That's what you're looking to do. If you want a less defined look, you're just kind of swiping in between. You can re-add paint as you need. If maybe you lifted some paint up or you want a little more of a certain color, just add a little bit at a time. But mainly the goal here is that you're kind of combining the two areas together. So you saw me going up and down. You can kind of go left and right a little bit. Whatever works for you. Sometimes you can see I like to go left and right, just kind of swiping like this. That helps really soften it up as well. Lots of different techniques you can use. I think I'm going to add a little more paint. I can kind of see an edge here, so I'm just going to add more paint and then do it again. If you ever see an edge like that, that's usually what I do. I just kind of add a little more paint. And that way I can blend the two softer colors together. So Sam, you just joined in on Twitch, just letting you know I'm doing a painting tutorial today. Wash off, it's beat the devil out of it. A sin, I didn't beat the devil out of it. Yeah, I'm doing a painting tutorial right now, so I'm on both Twitch and Facebook Live, so if you hear me replying to comments that you don't see, it's because they might be on Facebook. And otherwise, you got a Twitch crew here as well, though. They're all commenting and saying hi as well, so feel free to stick around. Even if you're not painting, you can just have a fun time watching. Do you paint as well? So again, you can see I'm slowly adding color. If maybe something's a little dry or just not blending nicely, you just kind of keep adding it. You kind of keep sweeping left and right to help blend out any edges you see. Just working it in as much or as little as you like. So if there's a line, I'm just adding more green. Trying to get rid of it there. Yep, that's a little better. There we go. So I kind of messed it up a bit more. And again, it's really up to you how defined or not you would like it. So I'm going to refresh Facebook if there's any questions. And Strata, slow down. Again, Strata, I'll be going at a pace here that allows for us to do this in about 2 hours. So I appreciate your patience. Again, if you need to rewatch it, there will be a video available right after this, so you can even go back and kind of catch up in a way if you miss anything. But so far I'm not seeing anybody else saying it's too quickly, so I will be staying a little on pace here. And then it was Christy. Yeah, if you have a favor to ask, go ahead, Christy. Cabin Chance. You know, Sam. You've perused Bob's streams before, I can see. He has such a good stream on weekends. I love it. Winter painting. Oh, okay, thank you, Grok. I'll try to move this almost with me, or I'll just like speak up a lot. Thank you. 65. It's fun. Trees and clouds. Oh, how fun, Charlene. Cool. The brush sizes. So this is a 12. This is a large flat brush. I believe it's a 12 of the Princeton brand or line. 6, size 6 is this one. This medium round is a size 6, and then this small round is just a size 1. Number 1. And K's, I'm just watching this time. I'm anxious to try. No worries, I usually do watercolor. Okay. I mean, K's, people sometimes follow along with their own mediums. I think that's extra cool. See? Yeah, Two Shane's coming in right there. I'm playing around with watercolor and gouache while listening. There you go. And yeah, sometimes K's, I know in fact a few others are doing that too. They're just like using this as like art time, inspiration time. They're not even doing a farm scene. They're just kind of pulling out their paints and doing whatever. So feel free, but if you want to just watch too, it's totally fine. Yeah. Sam, perhaps. That might be a fun little thing to add. Maybe after we're done the tutorial, I could try it. But definitely love to follow along sometime, maybe the line. Yeah, two Shanes. I think a lot of people are doing that line. It might be a fun one to try. And I think we could do that in other mediums too. I'll be doing acrylics, of course, but I think watercolors would be cool if you use just less water and just a little more of the broader strokes. I think that'd be very cool. Sure, Christy, go for it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Groki's done it. And she did the Mount Fuji one as I was painting it, so there you go. Okay, giving another quick minute for the pathway there in case you're still kind of blending it out or working on it, perfecting it. And we're going to move back up to the sky next, actually. We have a couple things to do in the sky, so we're going to move back up there. Yeah, Sunday 7 p.m. EST for the lion. Little stones on each side of the path would be awesome. Oh, these are good ideas. So Sam, you should pop in when I'm painting, when I'm not doing a tutorial, because sometimes on Twitch what I do is I paint these paintings in preparation for tutorials, so I like design them on Twitch essentially. And I love when people like you are in the chat and they say, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this were here, or like it would be way better if you added this or whatever. I love taking suggestions like that, so yeah, keep them coming. Again, I'm in the middle of the tutorial right now because this is the completed piece, right? So I stick to the reference, but number one, I'm happy to play around after. Number two, these are great ideas for other paintings. Okay, I'm gonna refresh Facebook there. Mount Rushmore is on the hillside on the back. Get out of here. Every 5 minutes you're like, but this. That's funny. Again, that would be kind of funny though. That would be fun. Anything like that to make the paintings more fun, I love and appreciate, so keep them coming. Okay guys, I'm going to move on to the next step here. So next step is I'm going to move up the painting. I'm going to go back up to the sky. So in the sky we have a couple things going on. I have some clouds and I have a nice bright sunshine. So I'll do both of those things with you just one at a time. So let's start with the clouds. I'm going to start with my medium round brush. Medium round. I'm just being silly. I appreciate the silliness though. I think it's great. And honestly, sometimes the silly ideas end up being something cool. So again, you should really check out, like even maybe tomorrow I might be creating a tutorial painting live. So watch for me there if you wish. So that was again a medium round brush, everybody. I washed it off, dabbed on my towel, and I'm grabbing just a little bit of white paint. I don't want a lot. In fact, you can kind of dip in either just a little bit, or if you dip in a little too much, you can just kind of tap it off on the towel. Oh, thanks. I'm missing all the follow alerts because I'm doing a tutorial. Oh, Kay's followed, thank you. Sherry followed, thank you. Look, Helebo, and then Sam, of course. Thank you very much. The alerts aren't on just because I'm doing a tutorial. So again, white paint. You can tap it off if you need. What I like to start with for these clouds is I like to start with just a quick little wispy horizontal line. Okay, so I'll be using just the tip of the brush, and again, only a little bit of white paint and lightly moving left and right. So saw that first stroke there? Maybe a little too much paint. I'm going to tap it off a little on my towel. And I'll just do it again. There we go. See, it becomes a little wispier that way. So less paint is good because that way it comes off a little softer. You can still see it looks a little harsh, but at least on the tips we have nice soft tips. So that's good. Nice and wispy on the edges. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, and then once you have that horizontal line on the bottom, again, my clouds, I like these clouds to be nice and fluffy. They're almost like kind of a mix between realistic cartoony. They're not super realistic, they're not super cartoony, but you get it. You can see there's nice kind of rounded tops, nice flat bottoms. They're all pretty consistent. So to do the tops, all you need to do is take that same brush with, again, just a little bit of white paint. I just do a couple circles. So I'm doing like a small circle to start, getting a little bigger, nice and big, and then going a little smaller, and then ending off there. Just gonna grab a little more paint to show you again. So small circle, just lightly rubbing my brush. Larger circle, a big circle up here. And then getting smaller and smaller. And then kind of leaving the tips alone. You see how the tips are left alone there. There we go. And then of course we have, whoops, we have a little bit of open space in the middle, so you can just kind of brush either back and forth, round and round, whatever you want. Just anything that, again, is nice and light and transparent looking. That's really the main idea. I'm going to round this one out a little bit more up here. So you can see the general shape. I like to try and do kind of smaller edges here, and then I make nice round tops. Round, tall tops. So I'll do that again in case you wanted to see again. So I'm using the medium round, some white paint, wiped it off. I'll start with a nice horizontal wispy line, so just lightly wiping left and right, back and forth. I'll start near the edge with a nice small circle. I'm just rubbing my brush round and round. Bigger circle. Let's make a huge circle. Woo! And then I get smaller again. And it doesn't need to be the exact number of circles. You don't need to do like 5 like that. You can offset them a bit. You can make the center a little bit off center. All of that is fine. And I actually encourage that because helps give it a little bit of variety, right? And then maybe I'll make one more kind of poking in here. You don't even need to do full clouds. You can make them just kind of coming in from the side if you wish. So when I paint from the side, obviously, it's hard for me to see. So I'm just trying to perfect some clouds here and trying to round them out a little bit just so you can see what they are meant to be like here. There we go. A little rounder on the tops. That's how I like them. And again, that's really personal preference. Clouds are all different shapes and sizes, but that's mainly what I go for, just the nice rounded tops, fluffy tops in general. Those are my clouds. So I'll give you some time to add a couple if you want. You can add lots if you need to. I stick with about 3. A happy little cloud. And I gave him a friend, isn't that great? Fluffy hype. Spilled milk in the sky, now I see icebergs. What else could they be? There are the clouds, there they are. So cute, I love those little things, they're adorable. Nice marshmallows. Okay, Facebook, I'm still not seeing comments if anyone is typing in anything. I haven't seen anything new in a couple minutes. Christy, you were saying you wanted to tell me something. I still don't see what you wanted to say, so I don't know if that was Facebook not allowing that through. But you could even PM me, Christy, if you prefer. So again, just giving a minute or two if you're still adding some clouds. My clouds are coming off a little green tinged, by the way. It may have been because my white mixed a little with my green, but I was intending to make them white, just so you know. Not on purpose that I made them a little bit green. They're supposed to be nice and white and fluffy. Messy plate today. Volcano plate's getting quite messy. Getting harder and harder to use. But still pushing through. You seen this before, Sam? Volcano plate hype. Does Bob Ross have one of these? This is the same plate I've used for 5 years, and I've stacked paint on top as it dries. It's a heavy thing. Pew. It's a lot of fun though. Is it common? No. I've never seen anything like this. This is unique to me. It's simply because I didn't want to keep using new plates, and I just used the same plate, whoops, over and over and over again. No, this is definitely not common. This is not an ideal palette to use. It's very messy, very confusing, because sometimes I dip into paint and I'm like, oh, that's dry. Oh, that's dry. Oh, this is wet. Oh, yes. And the paint spills down from the top, but this is my little guy. It's a volcano plate. Yep, that's the story. And there's you saw Grok do the little volcano plate hype emotes. That's what that's based off of, the volcano plate. That's funny, love it. Yeah, Case, it's pretty ridiculous. And people just don't understand, too, how heavy it is. I did a free painting giveaway recently where I went to the park and gave out some paintings, and I brought the plate with me so that people could give it a little feel. Because a lot of them said they never really understood how heavy it was, but it's all this is paint, right? It's all paint in there, so that's what it is. Okay. So I'm just going to go on to the sunshine, guys, and then I'll give you again an extra few minutes in case anyone is still maybe working on the clouds or wants to take their time on the sunshine as well. So just to show you here, sunshine is in the top left area, or maybe just like right above the hill. I kind of pictured this was maybe morning time here, so mine's right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix yellow and white, and then that way I get more of this bright yellow popping off rather than a transparent yellow. I talked about that a little earlier, but yellow paint tends to be a little bit transparent, so mixing it with a little bit of white will definitely help us here. So I'm going to keep using the medium round brush. I'm just washing it off to make sure it's nice and clean. Even though I was using white, my white got infected with green, so I needed to wash it off. And I'm mixing yellow and white on my plate. Yellow and white. Sorry, microphone. I'll bring you over. Okay, and then again, I'm placing my sunshine just above my hill. So I'm just going to do a nice simple circle. Nothing fancy here. Just about as round as I can make it. I'm going to twist this around so I can make sure I'm doing a good job. It's very hard to paint from the side, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Everything gets very distorted. And I don't have many tips here. The only tip I would say is I like to use a fair amount of pressure on the brush, and then that way the bristles kind of spread out and I can very easily see the edge of where the bristles are touching. And then I kind of follow around the edge. I just kind of twist my brush as I go and do essentially like a pinwheel. Oops, so sorry about the microphone. Yeah, just a little pinwheel like that. And then I kind of lightly brush on top. If you try and press very hard when you're filling in the sun, you might have the paint kind of disperse a little bit. You might have a little bit of that blue sky trying to show through. But when you're kind of filling it in, as long as you just use a little bit of pressure, did a little tick mark there, whoops. There we go. As long as you use a little bit of pressure, that'll help evenly distribute the paint and get a nice even coat of color. Okay, so I'll give you another minute or two for that, and then we'll move right along. Sam with the sun. I'm sorry I can't stay longer. Falling asleep. Oh, no worries. Have a great stream. See you soon. Grok, I hope you had a good time painting. I think you were painting a long watercolor. Maybe? I forget. I know a few of you were. Anyway, I hope you had fun if you were, but maybe you weren't because you're falling asleep at the keyboard. Have a good night, though. Have a good sleep. Thank you for hanging out. Oh, there we go. Christy, Dennis and myself are on 11th anniversary. Oh, congratulations, Christy. That's exciting to hear. Do you have any plans? Good night. Sleep well, good night. Hoops caps. I bought flipbook blanks today. When you flip the page, see an illustration. Oh yeah. And you're gonna make that yourself, Sam. Very cool. Sweet dreams. Thank you. Just refreshing Facebook here. So another quick minute just in case. I want to make sure everyone was good with the clouds and the sunshine before moving on. The next steps, by the way, we're just going to be mapping out where the barn and the truck go. What I do for those is I do a nice white base layer. So that's all we're going to do to start, is just a nice white base layer for both. And then that way we can let them dry. We'll work on a couple other things, and then we'll move our way back to those elements to kind of clean them up. Oh, really? Yeah, that is pretty cheap, Sam. You can make some pretty cool things with those flipbooks too. I've seen them get very, very creative. That's something I've never considered. That's very neat. Blank flipbooks. Where would you get those? Like Amazon or an art store? I don't think I've ever seen those being sold anywhere. Interesting. Amazon. That was my guess. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them at an art store. That's interesting. I bet a lot of people would be interested in that. Alright, everybody. Amazon is yes, it is. So, as I mentioned, what we're going to do next is we're just going to map out with white where we want our two main elements to go. So we have our barn, we have our truck. So I think I'll start with the barn. No reason why, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to use white paint, and I'll help you kind of sketch out the barn shape all together, and then that way we can have a nice white base layer. And it is important to have a white base layer, especially for these red items, because if you were to try to put red right on top of the green here, the green's going to show through. It's going to make it kind of less consistent in terms of the paint color. All of this kind of rusty stuff you see is stuff that we add personally, and it's something we want to be in control of. So rather than allowing the green to affect like how that's looking and maybe the blue versus green, you'd see kind of a line here. We're going to do the white base coat to erase all of that. It's going to be nice and clean on top, right? So that's what we're going to do. So again, I'll lead you step by step through each of those elements. What I'm going to try and do, not sure if that'll be enough space. I'm going to try and keep both on here so you can kind of see as I go. Maybe like this. No. That's the answer. There we go. So that way you can see the finished barn, and you'll also see my barn as I sketch it in, okay? Hopefully that helps, and it'll definitely help me too. I like to kind of see the reference as I go as well. So the brush I would recommend is the medium round brush. So I'd grab that, and we're using white paint. Or as white as you can make it. If it's a little mixed with a color, that's okay. Like mine might look a little gray or a little green just because my white mixed a little, but that's okay. So you can start maybe with the bottom of the barn. So the bottom, you can see it just kind of connects to your road anywhere you want. So maybe a little less than halfway down the green area here, the light green area. So maybe like right here. So I'm just starting with a straight horizontal line, or about as straight as I can make it. I would say it comes about a third of the way across, maybe, oh no, maybe about half. That's about halfway. Yep, so if you want a distance here in terms of how far in, maybe about halfway, a little longer. That's about good, yeah. So start with that horizontal line. Yeah, I used to make them just in notebook spuds. Give me a second, he's like, I'm good, little wolf, I'm good. 2 would be too complicated. Next, what you can do, everybody, on the left-hand side, just grab a nice vertical line, stick it right on there. Boop. The vertical line you can see goes about to the dark green, maybe a little bit on top, but we want lots of room to do all these little details right here, these kind of angles and straight lines going up as we go. Just to give the barn a little bit of layering, a little bit of a rooftop shape. All right, from this vertical line, you're just going to do a quick little diagonal line going up to the right. So you can see I would just call this a small one. We don't need exact measurements here, just like small, large, that'll be fine. And another reason we don't need exact measurements is because this barn is actually falling off of the page. So it really doesn't matter if you keep it centered or anything, you know what I mean? You'll see when I get through it here, but if your roof ends up being over here, like the tip of the roof, or over here, it won't really matter. It's all gonna look good. Okay, from this diagonal line, you just wanna do a small vertical line going up, even smaller than your last line. It's just a small little tick mark almost. So I'm looking at this line right here. Right there. From there, you can stack a diagonal line on top of that, and this one's just a little different because it overhangs. See how I overhung it there? Just for a little extra piece, it just kind of hangs over top. It's kind of like we're starting the roof area, and you might have a little overhang on some of the roof bits, so I wanted to do that on this small little diagonal line. Oh, good night, Christy. Okay, and congrats on your anniversary again. I won't be on Facebook Live tomorrow, but I'll be on Twitch, so if I see you there, I'll wish you a happy anniversary. But hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow. 11 years, that's great. Okay, from there we're just doing yet again another small vertical line. Lots of little like layers and levels to this barn. And you can see if it overlaps like this way, it's not a big deal. If you get really messy in here, it's not a big deal because we'll be putting more white in there anyway right after we're done the outline. Okay, so now we're onto the roof. And this roof, it does actually look like one line, but it's technically two slightly angled lines. So this one angles, and then I slightly tilt it a little more down, like a little more flat. So we have this and then just a slight difference there. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come up to the right. Oops, up to the right. And then I'm gonna just slightly angle it a little more flat. So hopefully you see there how it changes just a little bit. And you can always alter if you need. If maybe you don't like your first lines, do them again. So I'm gonna maybe alter here. I'm gonna make them a little taller. There we go, I like that a little better. So now is your chance to do that too. If you want to change anything up, that's another good reason why we should use white. It's because it allows you to easily change and cover up as you go, if you need to. So again, I thought mine was a little too flat. I just made them a little more angled coming up. So this will be the very tip top of our barn. So now all you need to do is just bring it down to the right, and that just kind of ends it off. So this is what I was talking about, guys. It doesn't matter if your tip of your barn, the peak of your barn, you could say is here, or if it's here, or if it's even over here, because you'll choose where you want your doors to go, so you can center them wherever you want. So that's why I'm saying you don't really need to worry about lengths here and making it exact, because you could really choose where the center of your barn is. All up to you. Okay, one last detail is just connecting this top tip over to the right like that, because what this is the side of the roof that we're seeing. So we're making it a little more three-dimensional by doing that. We're instead of making it very forward facing, we get to see the side like this, so the side of the roof. And that's the hard part. Easy part now is just filling her in. Just take some white, you can slop it in there and brush it on top of everything. So again, the point of doing this is so that we can even out the base here. Because right now we have blue, we have dark green, we have light green. If we were to try and put paint on top of that, we'll see kind of through it a little bit. So adding a white base helps even everything out and allows us to get a nice bright color on top for that nice bright red look. Better not have painted that. Oh, I sure did. Great. I'll cover that later. Whoopsie daisy. Guess I do need two easels, little wolf, don't I? That's an error. So you don't need to cake on the paint, by the way. You don't need to slop this on like in thick amounts. If anything, you can see, you might see a little bit through the white, and that's okay. And if anything, you want to go a little less because you want this white paint to dry. We don't want it to be wet for a long time. We will have time to allow it to dry, but it should be dry pretty quickly. So using less will help, and just allowing it and spreading it out will help as well. So by spreading it out, I mean kind of evening it out with some large brush strokes, making sure there's no large blobs of white hanging around. And again, that's just by using your brush and moving around the white paint, allowing it to kind of flatten out and even out all in that barn area. Great, so there's a nice white streak there. Gonna give you a minute for that white. I'm gonna fix that white streak because it's gonna bug me. And again, our next step we'll be doing the same thing just with the truck this time. So we'll be still using white paint, and we're using a similar strategy, just a different shape. Goodbye, there we go, haha. I'm refreshing Facebook here in case anyone had questions. Perfect, nothing yet. So just giving another minute or so and then we'll go on to the truck here. Gonna pour some white in the meantime. If you're running out of white, now would be a good time to refresh that for sure. There we go. Do, 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 do. It's hard to say no to that, Sam, when you put a little emote there like that. It's so cute. So Sam, I actually do have a second camera. I just don't use it for tutorials. Any other time I'm streaming on Twitch, I have a camera facing my painting, and then I have this one here, so I'm kind of like facing a little to the side. I still haven't figured out how to get that going on Facebook. That's the reason I'm doing just the one camera right now, because I'm streaming on both Facebook and Twitch right now. So I end up using the one camera setup for that. Yeah, yeah. I wish though. On the second easel. I did see something in Streamlabs today though. I guess I updated Streamlabs with my new operating system and I saw something that said go to Facebook as well, so I might play around with that, and if I'm able to do it through Streamlabs then that'll allow me to do the 2-camera setup. But right now I'm using Streamlabs for Twitch and then I'm just on Facebook Live, just the platform. So I wonder if Streamlabs would fix the comment issue too. I wonder. Guys, I might have a solution. I'll test this out soon. Yeah, Streamlabs OBS, yeah. Alright, let's go on to the truck, everybody. So I'm going to now... What do I want to do here? I guess do this. Ta-ta-da! And then that way you can see the truck, and you'll see mine as well. Hopefully that stays. Hopefully. It's a little tilted, but it'll work. Okay, so this is our little red truck. Of course, you can change it up if you wish. Oh, that's... Oh, so scary, so scary. There we go. That's our little red truck. I was just in the middle of saying, you're welcome to change this up, of course. I heard a few people saying they want a tractor, for example, or maybe you're just not a fan of the truck. You can just have the barn. But I'll teach you my steps to doing the little truck shape for you here. So, I would actually recommend going down to a teeny tiny brush here, and then that way you can kind of sketch out the shape a little easier because there are some small crevices here and there. And then what you can do is switch to the medium brush when you fill in, if you prefer. So I'm using, again, the teeny tiny brush, some white paint, and I'll start you off over on the left here. We'll start with just a little tire, and then that way we know where a tire is and we can go from there. So nice circle, like that. And I would recommend just kind of whipping this on a little bit quicker, and then that way when you have the whole shape together you can do some perfecting in terms of like making circles a little more round or doing some nice curved edges, things like that. But for now I would focus on just the general shape, and then when you fill it in you'll be able to see the full shape better and be able to alter it as you wish. So we've got the tire on. We can just kind of whip across with a horizontal line like this, kind of crossing through the tire. And then bringing this shape up like this, so making kind of like a square or a rectangle, or essentially making this piece. So again, I'm keeping it pretty basic for now. I'll add things like the curved edges, the little tire guard, and things like that a little later. For now, just looking at the basic shape, and I can do those little touch-ups as we go. So we're doing kind of the back of the truck here. Okay, we can now extend a horizontal line across like this. You can note that I'm leaving a little bit of a space. I'm kind of bringing the horizontal line up a little bit compared to my first one. go. So again, I kind of did a little step up and then moved across. And I can do now a vertical line for this next piece here. So again, note, you can see there's a little bit of a gap here, so I'll just leave a tiny bit of a gap. And do a nice vertical line like that. These are all small details, but they really help with the shape of the truck for sure. Bring that a little further over. Okay, let's keep moving over to the right here so we can do another tire. So again, there is a tire guard here, a small little detail, but we'll add that a little later. For now, I'm just adding a new tire. It's going to be about the same size as the other one. So what I did there, everybody, is I just kind of used the top of the tire. I moved over, did a little dot, used the bottom of the tire, moved over, did a little dot, and then now that way I know generally the size of the tire and how high and low it should be going. Just helps with that initial first step there, and then you can kind of make it a little bigger if you need, round it out more, etc. And if you fill in things as you go, that's totally fine. We will once again be filling everything in anyway. Just like the barn, we'll be filling it all in anyway, so it's no worries at all. Alright, let's move back up to the top here. I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but I find it helps with just spacing and everything, kind of moving to certain areas at the same time here. So I'm now going to move over to the right just a little bit. I want to do a small horizontal line. Again, it'll look very boxy, but I'll round these things out a little later. So very minimal, so I'm looking at this line up here. Can't say I've ever had one of those hairstyles, Sam. Maybe in the future, maybe for Halloween or something, maybe as a stream, who knows, who knows. Okay, from that horizontal line we can move down to the right. So this is now kind of the windshield area, right around here. So again, very boxy. Hopefully you can see the shape kind of coming together. It'll look boxy, but again, we will alter as we go. We're almost at the end here. We're going to move over to the right with a horizontal line. Oh, sorry guys. I tried to move away from the microphone. I tried. Alright, and then just to finish it off, again, there are small details here which we'll add, but just to finish off the general shape, I'm going to bring it down and then cut across into the tire. Down, across. So you can see that's a very general truck shape. It almost looks like a transport truck at this point, but we want it to be more of like a classic red truck. So I'm just going to give a minute in case anyone was finishing off the basic detail. And then I'm going to go through what I do to kind of round everything out, get a few extra details on there. I'll point everything out to you. How about a mullet? Well, I mean, Bob Ross didn't have a mullet. I think Sam was suggesting it because it was Bob Ross's style. I could be wrong, but thank you, Kays. Appreciate it. Erin life painted Bob Ross challenge. I told him I needed to throw a wig. Yes, thank you. Bless me, thank you. Yeah, Sam, that was funny. My friend and I, Life Smells Nice, we did a collaboration where we followed a Bob Ross tutorial, audio only. It was a lot of fun. And, oh, I hope I don't sneeze again. Anyway, yeah, I remember Little Wolf saying we need a fro. Okay, so again, basic truck shape, everyone. I'll lead you through what I do to kind of round this out, make it a little more classic looking. So first of all, I keep talking about rounding it out. I would go around and just round out any corners you see. So for example, up here, it's very kind of edgy, lots of harsh corners. Just now round those out, just kind of curve with your brush as you go around. That'll help round it all out. See that? Just gives it a whole different look. Rounding out those corners. Maybe this edge here. So any corners you see, just any corners, you can go around, round them out. Go around, round them out. This front part here can be nice and round. So if it means that you need to extend things a little bit, that's totally fine. See, it's already rounding it out a little bit better here. Another place to look is at the tires, the tire guard type things. So this here, that here. You can see what they do is they come just a little lower than the truck body. So easy way to do that is just extend this horizontal line down a little bit, just a little notch like this. Same on the other side. Again, kind of rounding it. And I'm filling them in so you can see a little bit easier. And again, the key is that you're not bringing these out too far. You just want them to be kind of tight to the tire so that you see a difference in height as it goes around. So same over here. I'll just kind of extend this down a little bit. This will come down a little extra here. And they'll kind of disappear when we fill in with white, but the idea is later on we'll kind of shape them out again like this, like this. Again, that'll be later. You can see all those details on top of the red. I was talking about our collab life when we did the Bob Ross challenge. Okay, one other thing I want to point out is the front of the truck, everybody. Once again, just a couple kind of rounded areas. So this part is technically part of this kind of wheel guard type thing, but it comes up a little higher. So we're going to start maybe around here. Bring it down a little bit so it just kind of pops out a little extra from the front. And you can even do a little front bumper if you want. So just yet another little curved edge that kind of pops out a little further. See it right there. I'd like to round this out more, so I'm going to round out this edge. Okay, and that's pretty much all the details. Last but not least, though, we have the little kind of cage on the back here. So if you'd like to kind of plan that out, you can. I know I did, so I'm just doing a vertical line, a second vertical line, kind of like halfway across there. And then two horizontal lines intersecting. Oops. And there you go, and that's just like a little caged in, a little safer for the back of the truck now, depending on what's being transported. Alright, so with those details you can now fill it in. So I'll give you again a couple minutes after I fill this in, just in case anyone's still kind of grappling the shape of the truck. I'll refresh Facebook now in case anyone has comments, questions, concerns, any of the above. And I'm filling it all in, guys, so the tires, everything. Anything inside of the truck. So I'm leaving this gap, of course, but everything else. Leaving that cage area open. Truck itself, filling in. Again, if it helps you to switch to a medium-sized brush, do it for sure. I will do that. Sometimes it's a little time-consuming to fill something in with that teeny tiny brush, you know? So I'm just gonna wipe it across here. And again, some of the details might be a little lost, but we will add them back in when we color this truck in. So same thing as before, as I said, if you see a little bit of green coming through here and there, it's not a big deal. It's more so that we're just getting a general base on here. Cranky Crank, welcome in. What's up? Ah, my hair is sticking in the white I see. Okay, another quick minute, and then we're going to move right along here. We got a couple more things to go, and then we're going to go back to kind of cleaning up the barn and the truck. You got the cool story Bob ready to go? We have a Bob quote command on here if you're interested. Perhaps. If it works. Did I misspell it? I don't think so. There it goes. In painting, you have an unlimited power. You have the ability to move mountains. You can bend rivers. But when I get home, the only thing I have power over is the garbage. Excellent Bob quote. Excellent. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to remove this reference now just because we've done the kind of foreground elements that are a little harder shape-wise. What we're doing now is we're moving to the fence, the trees, and we actually have some little dandelion dots here. So we're going to be doing all of those, and then we'll go back to the barn and the truck. Okay? So for the fence, I used a nice brown color, and I used the medium round brush. So what you can do is wash off your medium round brush whenever you're ready. And I've got 3 colors to mix for you in order to make a nice brown. The first 2 are yellow and red. So again, medium round brush, I'm using yellow and red mixed together. It should make like an orange color. And then to make brown, what you do is you just grab a little bit of black and add that in there. Just a wee bit. You'll see it turns it into more of a, kind of maybe like a puke color to begin with. Yuck. And if it's a little pukey, just keep adding a little bit of black and a little bit of red, and it should kind of warm it up into more of a brown tone. So for the fence, pretty straightforward. We're just going to be doing a few vertical posts like this. They're just kind of like lining the top of that light green hill. So I'm just using the tip of my brush, pulling down as I go, just doing a couple vertical posts. More than a couple. We've got 7 to be exact, if you're curious. Terry, I find it helps me to do those colors in those exact steps. I find if I throw them all in, sometimes the brown is difficult to make. That doesn't apply to every single color, just brown, I like to mix the red and yellow first because it helps me kind of see the orange. It allows me to see that I've mixed orange, and then I grab little bits of black to add it in there. I find it's a little more beneficial, yeah. It sure is too, Shanes. That's why I always reference the puke palette color. Yes. I have some good names for some colors that maybe some artists don't use, but I do. It really helps visualize, right? Okay, so after those vertical lines, we're just going to do some horizontal lines that kind of connect the posts. So what I like to do is I like to do 2, just one stacked on each other. So 1, 2. So I'm not going at the very top or very bottom of the post. I'm kind of going anywhere in the middle there. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I do them each individually, kind of disconnected like that, just because that's kind of, I think, how fences are. You can kind of see with each new post, maybe the two horizontal lines angled a little differently or placed a tiny bit different. So I like to do them each individually like that rather than going all the way across, all the way across. I like the look of more of a rickety fence personally, so that's what I go for. So let you do that here. Once again, I'll give you a minute or two. That's about right. Yeah, that's about right, James. I prefer the first name, but second one's good too. Very true life. Sadhaf, hello, welcome in. No worries, Elaine. All right, so just as a heads up, the next step we're actually going to switch down to the dandelions, and then we'll go back to up to the trees. That's just to give the fence a chance to dry a little bit, just so we're not going right on top of the brown. My medium round, so technically it's called a round brush. That pretty much means it's pointed, James. Here, I'll show you. They call it a round brush, but I would define it as a pointed one. So it kind of, yeah, it has a point on it like this. Mine's a little, the bristles are kind of splitting apart there. That's just because it's old, but ideally they would be in a nice point. But they call them round brushes, yeah. And then the flat one, I have a large flat brush. And that's, I think, as you would imagine or describe it, it's all flat like that. Flat. And then the small one is a small round brush. So again, it's kind of like a little pointed brush, yeah. Have like 50. Oh, that's nice. That's nice for you to choose from. Okay, everybody, so I'm going to go on to the dandelions now. So I'm going to switch back to my large flat brush. We were just talking about that flat brush, but the large flat brush. And I'm going to mix together yellow with a little bit of white. You might already have this on your plate because I know we've mixed this once or twice at least now. So you can always dip back into that or mix a new area of white and yellow. And what we do for these dandelions, so you can see what these are. These are just kind of like little stipples of paint. So I stippled them on by using the large flat brush and kind of spreading out my bristles a bit and then tapping onto the canvas. So once I have some yellow-white mixture on here, you can either like use your fingers to separate the bristles a bit or even, oh, I see a big blob there. We don't want that. Or you can kind of tap on a towel, paper towel. That helps kind of split the bristles apart a little as well. But you want them split so that when you go onto the canvas, hopefully this shows up a little nice for you. There we go. You can see the dandelions come off in a stippling motion. See that? So you get lots of little gaps in between them, lots of little dots. And that's because my bristles are all spread apart like that. You'll get all these individual little dots with a little bit of work. You're not individually putting on the dots, you're just tapping them on. You can kind of twist the brush as you go, and then that way you're not getting any like stamp patterns, you know? You want to twist it so that you kind of get a nice even layer everywhere. And once again, you can add as much or as little as you want. I tried to add them maybe in kind of patches. I did a little patch up here, a couple patches by the path, maybe a little right here. So it's really up to you how much or how little you want to add. I would just recommend, again, just going a little slower, just add little bits of paint, kind of tap into your paint. You can tap off a little bit or use your fingers to separate and then go in. I think it's important to prep the brush for this one because if you have too much paint or your bristles aren't spread apart, you'll kind of get more blobs on here. You'll get just plain blotches of paint rather than the stippling look, right? So just make sure you're checking your brush out before you go in there and taking your time. It'll be worth it just to take a couple extra seconds here and there for sure. Ah yes, I knew you'd like this part, Life. The free flowers. Do 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 do. Tap 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 tap. So yeah, again, I like to do little patches. Maybe I'll do like one more patch right here. Just so it's not so overwhelmed. And then that way you kind of have these little special parts of dandelions, right? It's not too overwhelming. Kalebo. Maybe it's a personal question. No need to respond if you don't want to. No worries, but are you painting full-time for a living, or if you have another job? Oh, okay. So I'm not employed. I'm unemployed right now. Saying I paint full-time, I guess I would define it as that. I mean, I don't do it for a living right now. Like, this definitely isn't, it's weird to call it full-time because it's definitely not my job right now because I'm not making pretty much any living at it right now, but it is what I'm spending my time on. Yes, I'm spending like full time on this. Yes. These are free tutorials that I offer just by tip donations, so that's really the only way I make any income right now, and then through Twitch as well. If anybody happens to subscribe to me or send me donations that way, that's the only way I'm making a living. So yeah, it is full time, not for a living, and I don't have another job. No worries. I don't think that's too personal. That's fine. I'll give you another minute for the dandelions, then we can go on to the trees. Oops, I will refresh there. Yeah, not a lot of questions tonight. That's all right. Oh, and again, the alerts aren't going off because this is a tutorial. So thank you, Art Chappie, for the follow. Welcome in. Thank you, Shy Baby, for the follow. Welcome in. Life, thanks for the cheer there. Oh my gosh. I don't know why that's not showing up in my alerts, but that's cool. I see it in the chat. Thank you very much. Full-time painter is my kind of painter. Yeah, it's, again, I would consider I'm doing it full-time right now. I'm streaming on Twitch like 5 days a week. So it's about as full-time as it can be. Oh boy, thanks for the Prime sub. Oh man, I didn't want that speech to result. Oh man. Thank you, James, for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. And for the gift. Oh, thank you, man. Evox. Oh, cool. Evox is one who joined us on Wednesday for the PC stream. I hope they're excited about that. Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate that. Again, I didn't intend that to be like a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thank you. Okay, perfect. As long as that's what it was. Great. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. That's what I want. I don't want it. Yeah. Okay. You got it. I'll stop now. Okay. No. It's okay. It's okay. Nice Man's here. What's up? Thanks for the answer. No worries. Yeah, if you're asking because you want to go full time with it, or if you have any questions about what I'm doing, of course, let me know. Let's get back on track here. Yes, let's do the trees. So I'm gonna do some dark green trees here, everybody. Again, I was consulting with my friend on Twitch, Ewok. He grew up on a farm, and he was telling me where the trees would be placed, in what direction, etc. Why it makes sense with the wind and all the things on a farm. So I was very careful to add these right here where he suggested. So that's why they're there. They are dark green. There's about 3 of them, and I use the medium size round brush for that one. So you can take that, wash it off whenever you're ready. The microphone is so close, I try to like hold my breath as I go around. And you can mix together blue and yellow. So once again, for dark green, you want to use a little extra blue. And that way you get a nice dark green tree. Charlene, I'll touch on that in a second. So for these trees, I'll teach you the technique I use. It's very much Bob Ross's technique. If you ever watch Bob Ross and how he does some trees, this is pretty much what he does. He starts, well, first of all, I'm using a medium round brush. He usually uses a fan brush, but I'm using a medium round brush which I flatten a little bit so you can see how the bristles kind of line up a little bit, right? Like that. Yep. And what I start with is a vertical line, like this. So it's just kind of the trunk of the tree. It just kind of shows where the tree is landing. And then all you need to do is, after, again, flattening out your brush, you kind of go at an angle like this so you can see the angle of the handle. See, like this, not like that, not like that, in between. We're going to start at the very top of that trunk, top tip, and I'm just going to lightly tap. As I get further down, I'm going to kind of tap and go down the trunk. I'm going to tap a little harder. And then as I go further down, I'm going to tap and move left and right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create kind of a triangular shape with my taps, just like trees are, right? They have a nice little tip at the top just with small little branches coming off, so when I tap, just small branches are formed. I tap a little harder as I go down, so larger branches are formed, and then even harder and moving left and right as I go down, so I get even larger branches. So that's what I came up with. I'll do a second one. Maybe I'll try and bring in this closer so you can kind of see as I go. I'll just have to move the microphone a bit. There we go. So lightly tapping, so I get small little branches. I tap a little harder, get bigger branches, and you can see moving left and right, larger branches. I'm going to do that again because I needed a little more paint there. Just a little at the top, tapping harder, and then moving left and right on the way down. There we go. Oop, that guy's a little tilty. There we go. Yeah. All right, and I do a third one just on the right there. So once again, if you want to add more, you can. Less is fine. All that good stuff. Oh, I see things going on. Oh yeah, I'll touch on that in a second, Charlene. I did it only because you're a full-time painter. Oh no, pity. Thank you. No, I know. I don't mean to say those words. You can see it's awkward for me to talk about. It feels like I'm like bringing attention to it, and I don't like that. Thanks to Shane's for the sub. Dang. Oh. You guys, thank you. Thank you. And the cheer from James, thank you very much. Hype, hype, hype. Whose hypes are those? Nice move 12. Those are cute. I'm going to do one more there. So yeah, Charlene's comment, what she said, after COVID lets up, you should charge for every single one of these tutorials. You deserve it. Thank you for the suggestion, Charlene. I honestly don't plan on ever charging for these tutorials. They're something I enjoy doing. They're something that I know everyone else enjoys doing. I'm happy to do them at no cost, tip only, optional, whatever. Honestly, if I find that I need to earn an income, I will get a separate job. I will monetize in other ways. For now, I don't see myself ever charging for tutorials, just to make that very clear. I like how these free tutorials have been accessible to everybody, and I like that I'm able to upload them to YouTube after. And like, listen, honestly, there's ways I can monetize it if I grow enough, right? So that's kind of my goal. But for now, I'm totally fine offering these for free, and even if COVID lets up tomorrow, I'll still be doing these for free. So just so you know that, Charlene. I appreciate your your thought, but just in terms of the plans for the tutorial specifically, I don't plan on ever charging. The only reason I would is if it was like a private one, which by the way I'm offering now. I'm offering private bookings. If anyone wants to like set up something for a virtual, birthday party or something like that, I am taking requests for those now and charging for those, of course. But otherwise, not these ones. Ever. First wish of ever. Oh my gosh, 2 Shanes, no way. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That means a lot. James with another. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I like it too, just saying. Ewok is here! I was just talking about you, Ewok, a little earlier again. I'm mentioning you a lot during this painting with your help. With your help with I was talking about the tree placement. Okay, so let's have a look here. So yeah, we are almost done. We just have kind of the details of the truck and the farm to go, or the barn to go, I should say. So let's move over to the barn, because that's where we started. So for this barn here, we can start by adding some red. That'll help with that'll obviously give the red color of the barn. I know some people were wanting to change that into more of like a rustic, maybe gray tone, which you're welcome to do, of course. But I'll be using brown and a little bit of black to add some kind of, I guess, shading to it. So you can use whatever brush you want. I think I'll stick with this medium round brush, and I'm just going to pour some fresh red paint on here. Lots of red. Big blob of red, and I'm just going to plop that on. So you can see how bright it's coming off right now. And that's because we have that nice white base. Oh, we had a train. I didn't even know. I received a level 1. Oh, sick. Okay. Thanks, guys. I didn't realize a train was here. Wow, I would have choo-chooed and stuff. Whoops. Thanks. I see now. I see. So again, I'm really just filling in exactly what I have here, just going on top of my white. And I'll be adding some shading right after this too. So for now, I'm just focusing on red. Same thing as the white though, guys. We don't want to leave any huge blobs of red. So I'm just kind of smoothing it out as I go, trying to keep the paint level consistent. No big blobbies here and there. Smoothing it out. And then again, if you see any of these like white dots, see how there's, one second, there we go. See how there's little, oh, you can barely see it, but there's little white spots. That just means you need to smooth it out a little bit. So just take your brush, no extra paint is needed. We're just smoothing her out, smoothing it out. Bring it down like this. So we don't want a lot of paint on here again because we do want that to be dry for the white details, of course, right? So as long as we're smoothing it out, should be dry in just a couple minutes, really. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to the truck to allow that to dry, and then we'll come back for the white details pretty much as the last bit, maybe. So keeping it nice and smooth, just doing one more wipe down here. Billy Rose, how long will the video be for? I'm only on my lunch break, LOL. Be on for. In terms of steps, I'm wondering if you're asking. The steps, probably about 20 more minutes. It'll probably be a little bit past 10 p.m. I'm in Eastern Standard Time Zone. If you're wondering about the video after I'm done, it stays up forever. It'll be on Facebook for a limited time, and then it will go to YouTube. So if you don't see it on Facebook, it just means it's on my YouTube page, erinbunpaints. Same thing, Billy Rose, yeah. It will be somewhere forever. It just kind of moves locations here and there. Life's mom, yes. Choo choo. Yeah, I didn't either, Life. Thank you, Ewok. Thank you. Hello, Life's mom. Ah, okay, okay. Oh, you're a hype train conductor now, James. Look at that. So good. I got the train whistle. Yeah! Toot toot. All good, all good. That's funny. Okay, I'll share what I got there. Share. If it'll allow me. Yes. Choo-choo. Hi, frog. Alright, so I mentioned we want to add a little bit of shading, so you can see maybe some kind of darker streaks in here. It just kind of rusts it up a little bit. It makes it a little less like plain red, you know, it gets it a little bit rusty and a little more realistic looking to a sense. I'm going to keep using the medium round brush here, and I'm just going to grab a tiny amount of black. And I'm just going to streak it kind of up and down within the red. So you'll see it comes off pretty prominent to start, but if you wipe up and down a few more times, it just kind of blends in. So I'm going to do that over here, and I'm just kind of moving it around. See how I'm kind of moving up and down, but moving my brush kind of to the right, to the left as I go. That helps spread out these streaks a little bit more. I especially like to add a little extra kind of up here where our roof is going to be, so just kind of streaking either left and right. Whoops. Raising the roof quite literally here. Or kind of just coming down here. I just like having a little bit of a darker area on the roof personally. So bringing it down. So teeny amounts of black, just the tiniest amounts. I can't emphasize that enough. If you add a little too much black on your brush, it's going to get very messy, so I'm really just grabbing a little on the tip. I even wipe it off a little on my plate, and then I go in. And you can see it kind of rusted up. It's going to look still a little stripy to begin with, but once you put on all these other black lines and the white detailing, you'll see that it kind of cleans it all up again. Kind of brings these streaks further into the background. They look a little less prominent, but hopefully you can see kind of the rustic look there. Rustic, not rusty. Yes, true, true. We don't want a rusty barn. You're right. We just want a rustic barn. Blending. BRB, no worries, James. Kim, thank you for another wonderful painting. You're a great teacher. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. If you need to go, I'll see you later. And if you need to catch the end, you know you can see it on Facebook or on YouTube. Okay, and this is also the time, actually, everybody, where we do add these black lines as well, just so they can dry as well before we add the white detailing on top. So you can use, once again, your favorite brush for this in terms of thin lines. We have the medium round brush as an option. You can even use the large flat brush or the tiny brush. All of those are options. Again, even that large flat brush, it's actually very good. Even though it's a big brush, you can still use the thin edge to get some really nice thin lines. I think I'll use the large flat brush personally, yeah. So really that's personal preference. I would use whatever brush you know that you make the thinnest lines with. For me, it is usually actually the large flat brush. I usually use this for trees, for example, and branches, so that's what I'm going to stick with here. Now, we have some lines. We have lots of thin little lines, and I think this adds a nice little detail. Some of you might feel like you want to skip this, and that's totally fine, but I think it adds a nice look to the barn. Obviously adds some like boards and things like that. I'll point out I do horizontal all the way up except for right here. I decided to do vertical where this door is. So what you can do is kind of just plan out where the door is going to be. Again, I would center it so it's underneath. Oops, I touched the wet paint. Whoopsie. Center it so it's underneath that large or that tall tip of the rooftop there. And I'm just going to do some vertical lines where the door will be. So I'm just making them evenly spaced, same height, and then going across as far as I need to. Just to keep it centered. That's what I mean by as far as I need to. Oops, those are a little angled. So there's the center, so I want to go a little further over. Again, this is what you get when you're painting from the side. It's very hard to do some very straight lines. Trying my best. That should be good enough though. And then once you have those on, you can just kind of fill up with horizontal lines surrounding. So I'm just going to do some horizontal lines now going this way. They don't need to intersect or connect. They can just, or connect with the vertical, I mean. They can just kind of rest beside. Oh, it's getting quite messy. And one thing I'll point out is that you can kind of split up these lines. They don't need to be perfect lines that are consistent all the way across. If you kind of leave some gaps in between like this, you're just kind of resting and pulling up your brush as you go. I find it helps create thinner lines. It makes it look a little thinner if you create little gaps like that, as if they're just kind of fading away a little bit in the background. So feel free to try that if you want. I am trying to straighten this out. Man, this is tough. It's tough to do from an angle. I'm gonna go like this. Just double checking, but yes, we have all vertical going, or horizontal going all the way up. So I just whipped those on. I would have loved to spend a little more time on them, but that's okay. Just for the sake of you seeing what I did there, I wanted to get those on a little quicker for you. You can take your time, of course. I'll give you a minute or two at least. You can take your time on that, and then we're going to go to the truck and then finish off with the white. And oh, and the little weather vane, of course. We have a little weather vane up there. Looks awesome. Thank you, life. After this tomorrow, I was camping without paint. No worries, Grandma June, of course. Camping without paint, that's okay. What color? That's black. Oh, sorry if I didn't mention that was black paint, everybody. I was doing black. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I guess I didn't mention black. I'm sorry. Sin and Charlene, yeah, thank you for calling me out there. That was black paint. Yes. So it might look a little, again, kind of like rustic, because it maybe might mix with the red as you go, but it is technically black paint. Just a little bit of black as you go. It's all you need. Just pull this away here. You can see what's coming up. Got our little truck to go. So you can see we're finishing up here. We got our truck. Gonna do some details on our barn. And there's a little weather vane. So yeah, the weather vane up top, it's a cute little addition. It's like a little rooster weather vane. He's cute, he's cute. But yeah, black paint for those lines. You're welcome, Sin, and thanks for asking. I must have missed that because both of you asked there. Now, oh no, I do have a charger there. Okay. I'll give you another minute just in case. I know that was, the lines can be a little time consuming, so I just want to make sure we're all good there. Just trying to get my charger for my phone. I can't let that die today. There we go. Okay. We're back. Do, 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 do. Yeah, and we'll see how these differ. Again, I heard tractor might be replaced for the truck. Just dip my fingers in the paint. And yeah, I don't know. I wonder if people are going to change up the truck at all. Just because a lot of people requested a red truck, but we'll see if anyone ends up excluding it or changing it up. Be curious as usual. Okay, so I will move on to the truck now. I'll show you once again so we can go like this here. Just switching it back and forth, back and forth. There we go. So here's our little truck. Here's the little truck. What we're gonna do is use black first. I like to kind of ring the tires here so that we can keep the nice white centers, and then we kind of know where those are. And then we'll use a nice rusty looking red for the rest of the truck. You can see how the red of this truck differs from the barn. It's just a little bit of red mixed with black. I will remind you of that when we get to it, but just so you can see the color difference there, I wanted to make it a little bit different for you. So I'm using the small detail brush. I'm going to grab some black paint. And once again, I'm just kind of doing a little ring around the circle here. So just kind of essentially outlining the tires, right? You're leaving a nice white center for, I guess, the rim or just the tire detail. And then the black is, of course, the rubber of the tire. So I'm just kind of circling around like this. And I'm going to make that a little thicker. There we go, and I'll do the same on the other. So again, you should pretty much have this circle shape kind of planned out already. You should maybe at least see the bottom of the circle, and then all you need to do is kind of bring it up and around to complete the whole shape. Ooh, it's a little flat tire. So to get a nice round tire, you're kind of looking at the outside and the inside, of course, right? If the inside's a little off, it might look a little misshapen, but same with the outside. Yep, something's still a little off there. Maybe right around there. There we go. Cool. It could be a little better, but I'm trying not to focus too much on it. Perhaps. Oh boy. Mine's a little bumpy still. It's hard from the side, and I can't pick it up, unfortunately, because there's this one here, so I'll leave it like that. They're a little off kilter, but that's okay. BRB, no worries. I excluded. Okay, spuds. Oh, my poor tires. Maybe one's a spare tire and the other one's the regular tire. I'll try and match this up by closing it in. They're a little off. Okay, I'll try not to concentrate on that. Make it very flat. Yeah, I should just accept it at this point. Make it a big old flat tire. Perhaps I will. Just like make a big flat edge right there. Alright, I'm going to fill in the truck, everybody. So I'm now using my medium round brush. It just helps me kind of spread out the paint a little more evenly. And I mentioned before, but I'll remind you again, the color we use is more of a rusty red color. So lots of red, and I just add a hint of black in there, and that's what makes it more of this maroon kind of dark red shade. And you're pretty much filling in the whole truck, except you want to make sure you're leaving this little window open. So if you want, you can start by just kind of carving out where that window is. I just carve it out by doing a kind of thick outline around where the window is. So I'm doing a thick outline just following the shape of the truck that I've already made. And then all you need to do is do a horizontal line kind of coming across like that. And that's pretty much your window. You can make it a little smaller if you need to, or shape it up a little differently if you need, but you can see that's pretty much what I did here. Outline that top and side area and then just cut across with a horizontal line. I'm just going to try and flatten it a bit. That's better. Great. And now that you have that mapped out, you can just kind of apply this color everywhere else where you have white. Again, the benefits of using white to start, it kind of lets you carve out the whole shape, and then you're a little more confident when you go in with your color. Right now you just know exactly where you need to go. You're just using it to fill in anything and everything that's white. So even this little cage area, I just go over top again. Make sure, of course, you go around the tires because we just painted those on, so we don't want to be really mixing in with the black there. Just kind of circle around. Over here. Get all those little bumps in there, all those nice little details you added. You can just kind of curve your brush around as you go. And same thing as I've said before, if you need to smooth anything out, that's a good idea just to kind of brush back and forth. Helps even out the color. There we go. And a little more consistent there. Again, mine's a little tilty. I could obviously spend a little more time on this to really perfect it, but it's more important to me that you guys are getting the steps and, you know, taking your own time on it if you need to. Oh, I'm getting quite messy today. So once again, I'll give you at least a minute or two if you need. You can reapply black if you need, of course. But what we're going to do next is we're going to move back to the barn to add the white detail. Or we could even do the weather vane first and then we'll do the white detail, and then we just have a small amount of white detail on our truck. It's all about the last little details at this point. Vicky, are you just starting? No, we started at 8 p.m. EST. We're actually just about at the last bits. So Vicky, if you're interested in painting this, this video will be on Facebook immediately after I'm done, so probably in about 10 more minutes actually. I keep upping the time here. But yeah, it'll be on Facebook, and then eventually it'll be on YouTube. So youtube.com/erinbunpaints. You can check that out if you prefer. So you will be able to see it, don't worry. You just won't be able to do it live. If you want to attend a live event, just check the events tab on Facebook, and it'll show you all the times that all the events are beginning. So for example, we have one Sunday at 7 p.m. EST. So if you want to tune in live, you can be online for 7 on Sunday. We're doing a nice lion. It's going to be fun. Okay, so I'm just going to move over. Once again, I'm going to do this little switch around here. This is such a fun little back and forth. I'm going to go up to the weather vane just to give our barn an extra minute or two to dry. It's pretty dry at this point, but just to give you another minute or two more, we can go up to the weather vane. So weather vane, as everything is, it's completely optional. If you don't want one, you can exclude it if you need, but I think it's a cute little addition. It's just a nice vertical line. I put a little rooster guy on there, and then I do a couple diagonal lines with a little arrow pointing north. So just a nice extra detail you can add if you want. So I'm going to use my teeny tiny brush. I'm using black paint for that. And I'll start you off just with one vertical line. So I'm going at the very tip top of my roof, one vertical line. Into that vertical line, we're doing 2 diagonal lines. They kind of crisscross like an X. And they kind of crisscross, I would say, like halfway up the line here, just to give a little space for our rooster. So again, just a nice X. So a nice diagonal line going down to the right, diagonal going down to the left. And if we want to make this farm accurate, we can put the north arrow on this one here, as if north is out to the sun that way. Well, kind of like either side there. More and more like this way. Anyway, we thought about this a lot when I was doing the original design, so there is a theory to it for sure. I might forget it now, but there is a theory to like where north is pointing, where the sun is rising, where the trees are. So it is it's about as farm accurate as we can get it. Oh yeah, east this is, alright, east, north, west, yeah. North is more that way. We figured it out, we figured it out. Okay, I'm gonna readjust here so I can move you closer for the rooster, just so you can really see a nice close-up. And again, optional, if you'd rather just keep a regular weather vane, that's totally fine, but I think the rooster's a cute little addition. So I'm just using more black paint on my teeny tiny brush. And all I'm doing is I'm starting kind of in the top left above that vertical line. I'm going to push down on my brush and do a little swoop down like this. And then it swoops up on the right there. So I'm keeping this top area on the left a little higher, and then on the right keeping it a little lower. So this is going to be kind of the head of the rooster here, it's the body, and then this is going to be the tail. So we're just starting with that simple swoop shape. You can see it almost looks like a bird right now. I'm just thicken up the body a bit there. There we go. So hopefully you see that shape there. And you can make this as detailed or as basic as you want. A couple small details I added personally to my little rooster. I added very thin lines for a little beak, so I just kind of wiped the brush on the edge of my plate so the bristles were lined up. And then I did a little like V shape coming out to the left as if it's like squawking. Like a V shape coming this way. So a nice quick diagonal line up, quick diagonal line down. Just trying to show you here. See those? So he's really clucking away. I put a little bit of a hairdo on him, so I just like flicked up with my brush a little bit near the top there to give him a little bit of a cute hairdo. Sometimes they have kind of like fluffy feathers up there. And then I also gave him a bit of a tail, so I just kind of swung downwards, did a couple little flicks with my brush. As if he has a nice feathery tail. Oh, that's quite a feathery tail. So I want to keep it a little tighter to the body, that's all I need to do. There we go. And you can just reshape as you need. You can see I'm adjusting the body, for example, so it matches the tail a bit better. Maybe I'll arc the tail a little more up like that. There we go. So again, you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. Those were my kind of 3 details, though. I added kind of the beak. I added, again, that little like feather on the top, and then just the tail on the right-hand side there. And that's our little rooster. I'll keep that here. Give you a quick minute if you're still working on him. And we're pretty much just on the white details last here. So we have white details on the barn, and then slight white details on the truck, just to make it a little more like shiny and shapely. Okay, great. I keep forgetting time is different. Oh, you're in BC. Gotcha. No worries, Vicky. Yeah, and I'm sorry Facebook doesn't change that for you. I feel like some people say it changes based on what time zone they're in, like Facebook kind of automatically detects it, and others don't. So I'm sorry, I don't know why it's so inconsistent. But yeah, I'm in Ontario, so I'm like a whole 3 hours ahead of you. One more time with the rooster shape. Sure. So that was a kind of starting on the top left. I kind of swooped down and then up. And the swoop on the down is a little thicker, so you can see there's more of a body here. So thin, thick, thin. You can press down harder as you go to do that. And then the 3 details I added was the beak, which are just 2 little angled lines coming out of that top left side. We have a couple little flicks of the brush for the feathers on the top. And then we have a tail which kind of swings up and then down on the right hand side. And that's your little rooster. Okay, so I'm prepping my medium round brush for these white lines. Again, you could use a variety of brushes. If you want to use a tiny brush to get very thin white lines, you can, but I kind of like the thicker line look. So once again, you could use the large flat brush as well if you prefer, but I'm going to stick with the medium round. So I did wash it off just to make sure it's nice and clean because we are going into white paint. And you can kind of see where I outline, but I will go through it with you. I pretty much outline the roof, you know, so anywhere where we start the roof, maybe about here, I'm just going to do some very thick white lines. So I like to really reload my brush each time, that way I get a nice clean white line. Reload. I'm just using the tip of the brush, touching, I guess, lightly. I'm not really pressing down super hard. I'm just kind of letting it glide across. And because I keep picking up extra paint with each stroke, it keeps it nice and clean, nice and bright. There's that. And then I guess the only difference up here, we want to leave this roof clean here. We want to actually bring an angled line down. Because remember, what we're doing here is we're showing where the face of the barn is, and then this is just the roof that kind of goes the other way, so it's just to make it a little more three-dimensional, right? From there, I find an easy spot to go would be where your barn door is, because we know based on where the vertical lines are, we can just kind of frame that, so you can now do a nice frame for that whole door, so a nice vertical line. Again, trying my best to get them straight here. And mine's going to swing all the way across, so I won't even see the right hand side because I want mine centered to here, so it's going to go kind of off of the canvas there, but yours might differ, so you can just kind of changes you need. And you can see I do a nice little X. So again, I try and get the center of the X lined up with that top of the roof there. So I just put, you saw a little dot there, and then that way I know to intersect around there and there. Cool. And again, your door shape and size might change. You can even make a smaller door if you want. It just depends on where your vertical lines were, where you decide to place them. There we go. From there, these are different shapes in here, but I kind of think of it as one big rectangle, just to kind of get the whole frame out, and then we can kind of split it up into these different details. So I'm going to start just a little bit inside of my door, so a little to the right. I'm going to go up, over, and back down. So it kind of like reaches almost to the roof. You can see it's almost like a tiny little gap right there. So you can start from the bottom or the top, doesn't matter. I'm just going to bring it down. Oh, that was a little further than I wanted, but that's okay. I'm going to bring it across. Oh, perfect. It's going to end right there, and then I'll come right down like this. So mine's just hugging the edge. Again, yours might be a little different. Just depends on where your center is. I'm going to split that in half. I'll give you a minute just to kind of catch up if you are. But just to show you kind of the basic shape and how I got it there, it was just that rectangle, splitting it in half. And just to mention too, acrylic paint is fantastic because once it dries, you can go over top of things. So, you know, if you're like me and you're looking at some of these lines, you're like, oh, these could be a little straighter. I want to just maybe cover up a few things, maybe kind of chop up some lines a bit. You have the ability to do that. I won't be doing that obviously because that would involve me waiting for everything to dry and then perfecting everything. But you could either do that as you're painting, kind of as things dry, or you can wait till maybe the morning after or another day, and then you can kind of go in and perfect things. If you're like me and you're kind of seeing a lot of lines and saying, I wish I could make them straighter, you can. Again, that's why acrylic paint is great. It just dries like that. You can go on top, change whatever you want. So I'm going to fill in this top box here. The top box is just 2 intersecting lines to make a nice big cross. They just go from corner to corner. So down to the right, down to the left. And just to do a little switch up here, we did a new rectangle and then a cross in the rectangle. So I just do a little rectangle floating within this square. That's going to be messy. I can already tell. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh boy. I challenge you guys, try painting from the side. And I'm going to do a nice cross in there. There we go. It's a whole different experience going from the side, I swear. Then you look in the camera, you're like, oh yes, that's how it looks. So again, if you have something like this and you're like, whoa, that's messy, you just wait for it to dry, grab some red, and chop it up the way you want. So I would use some red and kind of go along this corner here, go along the inside. Yeah. James says, no, I can barely do it from the front. Okay, or don't. As long as you have an appreciation for what's going on here, that's fine with me. I'll leave the side painting up to you. Thanks. Yep, change my mind. Don't do it. It's much better to just paint from the front. It's not even a fun challenge, just like an oh, you know. Oh, okay, great. I can't paint from the side. If you can see the bottom part of the roof, do you frame it with white? Which part here, James? Like this here? Not sure what you mean by the bottom. Like maybe if it goes down further? Because I left mine unframed. Yes, I would probably keep it. So what you would do is probably just extend this further. You know, you kind of mimic what's on this side, just extending it down. But I would probably keep the top edge free And, oh, I see. Maybe you're talking about, like, if this corner here would go over. Keep it free and see how it looks, and then add a white line if needed. I wonder. I would probably keep it free. I think I'd keep it free. As long as you can kind of tell the angles, I guess, once you add the frame on the front here. If you think it looks funny, you could always add like a small white line, or even a black line might be nice, because the black would allow for the shading, right? I think the black might be the better play there. Because I kind of, I don't know, I picture barns with the white detailing being more on the front rather than along the side. That's what I think. Oh, that's Terry speaking, and that's not James. You have the same name color. Terry, yes, that's my answer. I'd probably use black paint instead of white. I think I'd keep the white more on the front of the barn. Good question. Sorry I mixed you up with James there. You have the same color name, and sometimes I just look at the color and keep talking. Checking your Facebook comments. There we go. Great. Okay. So that's the white of the barn. I'm just flipping over it for the last little bit. This is the last tiny bit here. It's just the white of the truck here. And again, oops, I do this just to make the truck look a little more shapely, a little more like shiny almost, you know? It looks like there's just some nice shiny bits here. It was just freshly polished. So I'm gonna go in with my small detail brush, teeny tiny round brush, white paint. And I'll show you exactly where I go. I guess I'll point out the more important parts first, just for shaping up the truck a bit. Those are more of the thin white lines. So we have, let's start with the door here and this kind of step up here. So we can do the door with some vertical lines just coming down from the window. So I'm just using white paint on my small detail brush, kind of coming down almost to the bottom. Again, a little tilty, that's because I'm from the side. And we're gonna go across like that. So again, a white line just to kind of signify where the step is there. Shaffiness, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Ruffy, thanks for the follow as well. And Jose Pepe Louie, thanks for the follow. My alerts are not on because I'm doing a tutorial, but if you're all still here, thank you for the follows. Welcome in. Okay, I also like to use a white line to kind of shape out this kind of, it's almost like a larger tire guard, or just like a big shape for the tire here. So I start where the, where we put that little bump here on the bumper, not quite the bumper I guess, but the front part of the truck. I bring it over and then down. So right around here, I bring it over, down. Just kind of meets up with this line wherever it may meet. Let's see, and then other few details, I add a nice white horizontal line just below the bed of the truck there. I do a nice white line just kind of circling around the tire. Just kind of, again, that tire guard area there, just kind of helps show where that is. I'll point out we have a little white door handle here. It's literally just a little horizontal tick mark there, just kind of going on that top left-hand side of the door. And the rest of the white, I would consider just kind of highlights. So these ones were more details to kind of shape out the truck, but the white remaining, they're just little highlights. So any little corners you want to highlight and kind of shine up, you can do this on. I even put a tiny bit of white on the little cage area of the truck truck bed. So you can just swipe across some little white lines along tops there. That just helps give a little bit of a highlight on top. Maybe around each little rounded corner. Again, that'll help with the roundness as well, helping round the brush as you go around with your white, kind of curving it around. Down like that. Down there. Maybe right there. That's about it, yeah. Just double checking. But yeah, again, just kind of looking at my rounded corners, just adding little bits of white helps shine it up. Truck bed cage. And then otherwise just those little details that I pointed out. And I think that's all. I'm just going to refresh Facebook here, see how you guys are doing. Great. And yeah, at this point here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to display both of them, hopefully. Well, this is the one, this is the original. This is the one we made. Try to get as close as possible. Again, a lot of my stuff is shifting. I think maybe there's like a big windstorm in my painting. Everything's kind of blowing this way, but otherwise pretty close. So there they are. I'll display this one. It's a little cleaner, just in case you want to see some cleaner shapes and kind of perfect anything. I'll keep this here for a bit here. So at this point, a very important last step is to sign your painting. I'll sign the one that I just created with you. I just do a little signature or little initials in the bottom corner there. You can do them whatever color you want. I chose white. You can use a Sharpie if need be, or sign on the back if you'd prefer. But I think it's always important to sign your work just to really clean it all up, kind of perfect it and say, it's done, you know? I find it very hard to stop painting, so when I sign it, it's kind of like the final little step, the final little piece to the painting. Kays, I've enjoyed this so much. Oh, I'm glad. I've learned a lot tonight. Thank you so much. Oh, you're very welcome. Glad I found you. Glad you found me. I'll be online tomorrow if you want to just watch me paint some random stuff. I'll be either creating a tutorial painting or doing something else acrylic. But if you liked this step-by-step, I'll be doing another one Sunday at 7 p.m. I'll be on lots before then, though. But thanks, Kays. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, as some little wrap-up announcements, of course, I always remind everybody that you are welcome to post your final pieces to our Facebook event page or to Discord, depending on where you are today. So if you're on Facebook, what I'm doing right now is I'm navigating back to the Facebook page, and I'm going to open up posting permissions to our Facebook event. So that event page that was displaying, I guess, this tutorial here in the events tab, I'm going to open it up for public posting so that you can post some beautiful photos in there. I'm just doing that right now. If you're on Twitch, you're probably more likely to be on our Discord. I will link it right there. And in my Discord, guys, I have an art share channel, which you're welcome to use to share your final works of art. And that goes for any art, too. I welcome everybody to just share any art they want in there, and we can all, you know, have a look and compliment and talk about it. Okay, Facebook event page is open. There you go. So you can do that. If you're interested in the next tutorial, again, that is already posted up. It's already planned for this Sunday, 7 p.m. EST. Okay, so if you want to join in live for that one, just be ready anytime just before 7 o'clock, just like today. And we'll get started at 7. It'll be, once again, about 2 hours, and we'll go step by step just as usual. If you want to see just me in general, if you like me and you like painting and stuff, I'm on Twitch before Sunday at 7 p.m. I'll be actually on Twitch tomorrow, 10 a.m. starting, and then probably till about 3 or just any time in the afternoon. Sunday, I'll be on early as well. Not early, I'll be on during the daytime as well before the tutorial. So if you want to just hang out, like if you liked just like watching painting, for example, and you like just chatting with people as they watch me and having some conversation, then you can join me on Twitch. Again, you have that Twitch link on Facebook there. It's still pinned. What else? I guess, again, free event today. Always, will always be free. The tutorials will always be free. If you'd like to kind of donate, then you're welcome to. It's never expected, just always appreciated. There are some kind of tip donation links. I don't even want to call them donations. They're tips. You're tipping me. There's some tip links in the Facebook event description, so you can use those if you like in terms of like an e-transfer or a PayPal. Thank you to those who do. Thank you to those who don't. It doesn't matter to me. You're all coming, and that's all I care about. As long as we're all painting and having fun, that's just my main goal. So thank you very much to everybody. And I mentioned the next tutorial, Twitch, and then YouTube, I guess. I'll just mention that too. If you're interested in seeing this video after we're done here, it will be on Facebook for a limited time. But after that disappears from Facebook, it just goes to YouTube. So if you're ever looking for this video or any other tutorials I've done, you go to YouTube, youtube.com/erinbunpaints. That's where I'm on every platform, by the way, if you're ever wondering. Instagram, yeah, Twitch, whatever, all of it, Erin Bun Paints. So just search that up on any platform you're looking for. I'm probably there. Probably there. Okay, that's my spiel. So now I'm just going to have a look at the Facebook comments and the Twitch comments, make sure we're all taken care of. Yes, I read K's. There we go. Thanks so much, Erin. This one is awesome. Glad you had fun, Sharon. Thank you, Erin. So much fun. See you Sunday at 7. Excellent, Charlene. I'll see you there. Have a good night, you too, Charlene. Thanks, Erin. I completed it. Nice, Buds. I can't wait to see yours. Grandma June really likes this one. Excellent. Love painting with you as always. Thanks, Julesy. You too. Little heart bun, love bun. Yay. And then going to Facebook. June, thanks so much. You're welcome. Are you on both platforms right now? Maybe. Thank you so much from Sin. This was so much fun. It was so fun painting with you. Great. Thanks, Sin. I'm glad you had a good time. 4 for me, Vicky. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. Yep, you can plan for 4 p.m. Vancouver time. You got it. That's easier to remember for sure. Thanks a lot. You're welcome, Kalebo. I hope that's... If it's something else, just let me know. Kalebo. Oh boy. I suppose I'll stream tonight. Okay, cool. Just waiting for any other comments here. But yeah, can't wait for the lion. Oh, maybe just as I'm waiting for questions anyway, I'll just grab my lion painting, which will be Sunday, and the Fuji painting. Yeah, 1 second. Oh, Caleb! That makes sense. Why am I saying Celebo? Caleb and then O on the end. Okay. And you're Nancy. Okay. I'll try and remember that next time. It's sometimes hard for me to do like the whole remembering the username and then transferring to a real name, but I'm getting better at it, I think. So Caleb into Nancy. Okay. I'll try and remember that. Thank you. Calebo. Oh my goodness. Right, so this is being painted Sunday in case anyone's wondering. This is the lion. I think a lot of people are pumped about it. I am too. I think he's pretty cool. And again, I'm very excited to see everyone's like interpretations of this because it's a pretty like straightforward, consistent technique. Like we use the same kind of impressionistic technique the whole time, but the colors can be switched to whatever you want. There's kind of a system of like lighter colors versus darker colors, but if you want to use warm tones, like keep kind of the yellows, oranges more lion-like, you totally could. You could do cool tones instead. You can pick a couple colors to match a room in your house if you want to do like greens or greens and blues, stuff like that. Super customizable. Very cool. And then, just as a little preview, a sneak preview, this will be posted tomorrow, but this is the Mount Fuji painting. Eee! I love this one because it's nice and open. I think it's a little more straightforward, this one, but still packs a punch with that nice highlight on the mountain here. The nice cherry blossoms, of course. It's like, who doesn't like cherry blossoms? Come on, come on. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one too. This was, again, a lot of fun to create on Twitch. Thanks for those who helped me with this one as well. Again, it was Twitch chat that said, hey, maybe consider cherry blossoms. And I was like, okay, and then I added them, and I think it made the painting just fully completed. So thanks again, guys. That was great. But yeah, this will be next week sometime. I'm thinking Friday. So you can look out for that. Facebook, I will refresh here, make sure we're all good. Da-da-da-da. And then Vicky, fun to paint with. See you Sunday. Great. Awesome. I'm glad you had fun. I'll see you Sunday. Thank you so much. See you Sunday for the lion. You're welcome, Lisa. I'll see you there. And then June, yes, a bit bigger on the one. Ah, got you. Okay, okay. Perfect. Yeah, choose whatever works for you or choose both. Either one. Wow, that's beautiful. Thanks, Sin. Lion is beautiful. Thanks, June. Awesome. I'm glad you're pumped for the lion. I assume both of you said that lion there. Amazing. Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I really hope Facebook has fixed its stuff by then, guys, because beautiful mountain. Thanks, June. Yeah, I would hate for something to go wrong for that one. So Facebook, I might make a post before then, maybe even like talking you through how to get to Twitch just in case, because it really is a lot easier for me to see the comments on Twitch right now just because Facebook isn't loading them. And I mean, what if my phone doesn't work for a solution next time? Anyway, I just want to be cautious and safe here. I would hate for a platform issue to affect your enjoyment of these events. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And then, yes, thanks. Oh, J Knight, thanks. I truly enjoyed it. Got a break from the kids. Excellent. I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, a lot of people do use this as their kind of me time, honestly. And that's why I do it more in the evening. I know families do like to follow along, but I'm getting the feeling that most families follow along via YouTube or afterwards. So it is kind of nice for everybody. Everyone gets to participate at their own time, so that's good. Oh my god, I somehow haven't seen the full move. Fuji, beautiful. Oh, thanks to Shane's. Yeah. I think, yeah, I forget if you maybe left before the end there, but yeah, I'm just super fan of the colors too, obviously that pink, blue, purple spectrum, but yeah, I was pretty happy when somebody suggested the cherry blossoms, because it was my original plan. I don't know if you were there right at the start when I was talking about my plan. I wanted a daytime Mount Fuji with like bright pink blossoms, and then I found a reference online that had kind of the darker tones, and I fell in love, and I was like, well, I have to now. So it kind of changed up. Anyway. Okay, Facebook is getting quiet. Oh, Margaret came in to say hi. Sheila says thank you so much. And hello, Margaret. No worries. I think I saw you on Twitch earlier, no? I believe. But yeah, we're just ending off, Margaret. But thanks for coming to say hi. I appreciate it. I hope we had a great Friday night and continue to. I'm just going to refresh one more time. Yeah, okay. Alright, I think, yeah, I think Facebook is signing off here. Oh yeah, and I see people dropping. Okay, perfect. Alright. So again, I'll see you Sunday potentially. Otherwise, you can join me on Twitch before then. I'll be on tomorrow and Sunday before the tutorial. Okay, have a great rest of your Friday evenings, everybody, and a great, great weekend if I don't see you till Sunday or after that. Okay? I'm gonna end Facebook now. Bye-bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye.